It's a great day to talk hockey with Grant McCagg on HabsCast.
Thank you, Mr. Dick Irvin. Sunday is always a great day to talk hockey with Rick. It's our draft prospect of the week, Habs prospect of the week. So, Rick, you ready to rock and roll or what?
I am totally ready to rock and roll, Grant. How are you today?
Oh, well, better than I was about halfway through the third period of last night's game. I think that was important to win that game. Just, you start going on a slide and you're that close in a playoff race. Losing to, Anaheim, getting 1 point playing Anaheim, San Jose and LA. Don't think that would have been good. So you go from 1 point to 3. I think it was pivotal to keep that small cushion that they still have, because Columbus and Ottawa are hot, and they're the 9th and 10th teams. So Montreal's got to keep winning at a 60% pace here if they want to ensure that they make the playoffs here.
Yeah, no, 100% agree with you, Grant, and it was really important to show some fortitude too. They know they've had a few tough games in a row, and they know, and I think there's a disappointment too around the team that they're the only ones who didn't get any acquisitions to give their team a little boost among the playoffs teams, I should say. So I think there might be a little bit of disappointment, whether they like to admit it or not. And I think also that they know that their last few games they did not play well, and it was not like one of those moral victories. It was definitely not. They just didn't play well, and then they didn't get a lot of help from their goaltending. So that kind of resilience to their game was really, really important for a team that does want to go far in the playoffs. You got to be able to fight through these tough times and these imperfect situations that they have to deal with.
So if Monty had been in nets last night and they got outshot 16-1 in the first period, do you think it would have been just a 1-0 lead?
No, it wouldn't have. Right now, Monty's just completely. Again, the body language, everything tells me that Monty is kind of defeated right now. He has no faith in himself. He's we talked about it after a few days ago, right? He's making too many movements, too much shoulder movement, too often in the back of his crease. Doesn't react very well. So no, Dobish yesterday, after having a really, really bad game against San Jose, came back strong, and that's another good sign for Montreal.
Habs have 3 back-to-backs coming up here. Typically, they play both goalies in back-to-backs. I don't think you can play Samuel Montembeault 3 times over the next 6 games. Again, if you want to stay in that, in the top 8, it's that close. Laval's got a 25-point lead on the 6th place team. The top 5 teams make the playoffs from the North Division.
Wow.
So they have no, I don't know if they've officially clinched, but you might as well say they have a playoff spot. If they were if they were at 4th, 5th place, like they were a couple of years, like when it was really close, and they're, maybe you say, well, keep Fowler down because you want Laval to make the playoffs, but they're making it for sure.
Yeah.
Why, do you think that they're going to call him up this week to play, at least a couple of those back-to-back games?
I hope they will. I don't know what their thinking is or just how much faith they want to have. I think maybe my sense is that I think Marco Marciano is going to have a little bit of a say in this to see what's going on. Maybe he has a sense of something that we don't have, because goaltending is such a weird position. But I think at this point, there's something said about protecting your veterans and giving them an opportunity and giving them a second chance. And that does happen. And we know coaches tend to favor veterans. But I think at this point, you've gone more than far enough at this point that you could make that call and just tell Monty the truth. Say, listen, it's not working for you this year, and we got to get some wins here. We'll let you have some practices. If we feel like our practices are going really, really well, and you've corrected some serious flaws. Maybe it's time again. You will get a chance to be in nets at some point. I don't see that not happening. But right now we need to get some wins because teams are breathing down our necks and we want to make the playoffs.
Yeah. Francois saying here in the presser, Marty mentioned he's still not happy with the 5-on-6. He felt the team continued doing some mistakes and we're lucky to get away with it. Presuming he's referring to allowing point shots. Well, Kapanen made a huge block. I liked, Marty's been talking about a common denominator with the, and he didn't come right out and say it though, but a common denominator had been that Evans was out there for all these empty net goals against. He put Kapanen out instead, and Kapanen made a huge block. I think that shot was getting through and it may have gone in. Marty says he's still not happy, but I was happier that they switched it up, put Kapanen on in that situation, and like I say, he made a block that may have saved yet another empty net goal that tied the game late.
Yep. You can always count on Kapanen to play good defense if things are not going well offensively, and I'm happy that Marty St. Louis recognizing that and that he's. Veterans always talk about everybody has to be held accountable, but sometimes it feels like it doesn't account for them, right? And there's issues, right, where some of the players, and he's right, with 5-on-6, Montreal struggles incredibly. There's a lot of running around that is pointless sometimes. You got 5 players on the ice. Yes, they got 6, but you got 5. That takes up a lot of space. Like, stop chasing everything and keep them on the outside as much as you can. Pick and choose, but there's a lot of times where the forwards go too low, so then the defensemen come up, and then next thing you know, you got 2 forwards down, a defenseman up, everybody's out of position. And Evans had a tendency of doing that a lot, 6-on-5, and saw Kapanen just really held his position, didn't overcommit, kept his stick well positioned. He put himself in a position to do a nice block, and that's something that I think was recognized again by Marty St. Louis, who is a believer in Kapanen, and he's gone out and said it more than once that, even when he's not producing, he contributes to a line, and there's things he does without the puck that is maybe not noticeable, that doesn't go on the TSN highlights, but there's an intelligence to his game and an economy of movement that make it look like he's not doing much, but he's actually just playing good positional hockey and getting in the way of lanes and shots and things like that. I think that was a good call by Marty St. Louis at the end of the game to do that.
Right. And Cappy last game, they must have liked his game because he played 18 minutes last night.
He did.
He had been playing 11-12 a few games, but he was, I thought, he didn't get any points, and sometimes that's what people just go by. Didn't create a lot of scoring opportunities, but his game was pretty solid last night. And he had 7 more minutes than Demidov, interestingly, even though they're line mates. Demidov right now is in this last stretch has been his least productive, but also he's just not playing really good right now, really well right now. Maybe just, he played 30 games in the MHL 2 years ago. Last year he played in the KHL 60. Maybe he's just right now just a little lacking a little bit of energy, perhaps.
I think that's a good point, Grant. There's a little lack of a little less dynamic than I remember him. Maybe a little bit less jump, a little bit less explosion. He's having a bit more trouble separating, so he tends to just roll away from the harder areas. Not because he's intimidated by going to the net, I don't think. It's just fatigue. He doesn't have that second gear to gain body position to get into that area where he'd like to get and get shots off. So he instead goes to the sides and tries to buy himself a little bit of time. Let's face it. Also, there's 3 people on the line, and I didn't hear much from Newhook last night. I don't know if he did much on last night. So I think as a line, they're not really functioning as well. They're not using their speed. And again, it gets back to Demidov, right? Is maybe doesn't have quite that same jump. I thought they created a lot at the start of the year in the neutral ice, blocking lanes and going on the going back on the transition. They were doing a lot of great thing on the transition, and now they don't have that energy to do much on the transition, and it's affecting, I think, their ability to score because none of them are very big. None of them are going to be able to beat guys. And not that they're bad at it, but they're not gonna. It's not their game to go into the corners and get the puck. They really got to get on the transition game, create chaos in the offensive zone using their speed and passing ability, and then they'll be able to be successful. Right now, it's not quite working out for them, I don't think.
Well, I think it'll change a bit. Like they were, they were on the road, and the other team had last change, right?
Good
and
call.
They were out against Celebrini's line. They matched up Celebrini's line against the Kapanen line, and then last night Kopitar's line ended up playing. Can't be the Habs killer. Finally didn't kill him last night. Broke a 9-game winless streak against them, so that was nice too. Nice to get the Minnesota and LA monkeys off their back in recent times. But
yeah, that's a good call.
You're not gonna rookie line, a line with 2 rookies on it's probably not gonna look great against the Celebrini line and against the Kopitar line. So they come back. Here's hoping they come back to Montreal here. Marty's got the last change, and you don't have 2 rookies out against the top line on the other team all the time, and that alone will make them look and play better, I think, because you're chasing the puck quite a bit playing against those lines as a rule, right?
Of course, that's a great call. I forget that the Saturday night games are not always in Montreal.
Yeah. No, right. And I just noticed that they were out against, yet even still, Kapanen scored a goal and Celebrini playing against that line only scored 1 goal. So, they held their own as far as when you can come out even against Celebrini as a rookie center in the NHL. I think that's pretty good. Because Celebrini is just he's something else. He's just like Schaefer. They both look like they might be generational players, and it's kind of cool that they're both Canadian. Because next time around at the Olympics, baby, we're gonna come gunning. 4 years from now, this was kind of the U.S.'s opportunity. I really think, because you look at the last couple of drafts and the next couple coming up, it's not, there's not the Jack Hughes first overall guy, Matthews, Eichel, all of these guys that went top 2 that are in their primes right now. 4 years from now, like the US isn't, they have a few, but they're not going through a cycle right now. Like they have no Celebrinis or Schaefers that have been coming up the last 3 years, nor does it look like in the next 2. So 4 years from now, Canada is going to be tough to beat, and we'll get them back next Olympics. I'm pretty confident of that.
Just gotta get that goaler is the only thing that worries me a little bit. I hope somebody steps up and becomes like a really fantastic goaler from goaltender from Canada, because that's the only thing that could really because that's what happened the last game, right? It was the U.S. goaltending was the big difference, and I hope somebody steps up as a good Canadian goaltender, because in 4 years I don't want to take on Fowler, right, without having a good backup.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it certainly couldn't blame Bennington on that gold medal loss. It was just their goalie was a little better, but I mean, didn't have to face Schaefer, right? Wait till the next one. We'll get him back, and there'll be other guys coming up. So saw an interesting stat today, Rick, that kind of caught my eye. Most assists by defensemen in their first 150 games. Hutson's now played 140. Is that 148 or 146?
146.
146, and he's already tied with Zubov for the most through their first 150 games. So safe to say that Lane Hutson will have the most assists ever by a defenseman in their first 150 NHL games. Tied with
Oh
Zubov,
wow.
but beat McCarr, beat McInnes, beat Larry Murphy, Brian Leach. They only just happen to be Hall of Famers, right? So, and so was
Yeah.
Zubov, obviously. So early on in his career, on path to be someday be a Eric Macramella said it on here one that he'll be a Hall of Famer someday. Made a bold prediction. He keeps producing like this. Yeah, he's on that path. It's kind of cool for a player that wasn't even picked in the top 60.
Unreal, unbelievable, and we all know the stick handling, carrying the puck up the ice, the shiftiness, the passing ability. His shot is slowly improving, and we know the way he is, and his
Yeah.
insatiable appetite for going on the ice and working on his game, that it's going to get a lot better. And he's not the kind of guy that you need to put on the ice only in certain situations. You could put Lane Hutson. I have no issue if they put Lane Hutson on the ice with 30 seconds left in the game because he's that good. Yeah, he's not going to clear guys out of the net, but he's gonna get to the puck before anybody else. His stats defensively are excellent, and I'm not a big advanced stat guy, but I have been looking at some of his stats, and he's really good without the puck. So he's becoming a complete defenseman, really developing strongly. He's just layer upon layer of improvement for Lane Hutson. It's just fantastic to see. Boy, and he signed for a long time. How could you not be thrilled as a Habs fan to know that this guy's going to be on your you're going to be watching this guy play for years and years to come.
Well, there'll be defensemen that sign contracts probably double of what he's making over the next 2 or 3 years, and you'll just say, "Whoo, there's a bargain." The Canadians are in really good shape that way, except right now, there's an issue here. I'm I'll be the first to confess that I don't understand. I don't study the cap. I'm not a capologist, but we do have people here, insane Habs fans that read up on all of this, and being told here in regarding call-ups, a technical constraint is the cap space. Even if the team can have more than 23, it has to respect cap space, and Line is currently on it, even if hurt. According to Puckpedia, Montreal has 1.56 cap space, which isn't quite enough. I'm sorry, they blew it. If they can't call up, if they can only call up one guy, they should have been sellers or done something at the trade deadline here, man. Like, because they need Fowler and Reinbacher and Hage, as far as I'm concerned. Now, I don't know. Can they not even, if they can only bring up one of those three, that to me is disastrous. I just think that's not good, because my belief was the backup was, well, we'll rely on these guys to. We couldn't get a right defenseman, roll Reinbacher. We couldn't get a goalie, call it Fowler. We couldn't get another top 9 piece, sign Hage and play him. Geez, I hope there's a workaround of some sort here. Maybe somebody's got to be put on waivers. Will that solve it if they try to send somebody down? Like, I don't know, but I hope there's a workaround of some kind, because they need to call up. And I mean, it's hard to say which I'd prefer them to call up, Fowler or Hage, or Fowler or Reinbacher, because as far as I'm concerned, they need both right now.
Yeah, it's not a good situation they're in, and the only thing I could think of them doing is because you could still make a trade now, but the player cannot be used in the playoffs, right? So you're taking, maybe you trade a Liney to a non-playoff team with a bonus, like a draft pick. Then it wouldn't matter because Liney's not going to make the playoffs anyways on a team that doesn't, just wants to get the asset. Maybe, I don't know, but I don't remember that being done. It's not a good situation they find themselves in. The thing, I think, if you put Liney, even if you put him in Laval, I think his salary still counts because he only has a full contract.
Yeah, but that might be the solution, I guess, right? Line A on waivers, dump him in.
No, I mean that's the only thing you could do.
Yeah. Well, I guess you could try to send down Veleno, I guess, or Texier.
That's 900,000, right? It's enough, I guess.
No, I
But
know,
it's
but
not,
it's enough to at least call up two guys, right?
Yeah. No, you're right. You're right. I hope Montreal considered that at the trade deadline and had that in mind, because if not, that would be a really huge fail. I'm thinking there's a way. I'm thinking, they have capologists and all these things. So
Yeah.
So I think there are options for Montreal. He's got to be aware of it, because I can't imagine them not being prepared for this
No, yeah.
situation, unless they put all their eggs on that basket on this mysterious players that they came close to acquiring. But no, that would be a huge fail, and somebody would have to be held accountable for that.
Yeah.
You should be ready for everything.
Well, I think they got to do something here. Simo's saying they can place Veleno on waivers, for example, and you can call up 4 guys up to 4, but Veleno's not making much either, right?
Right.
With Veleno down, can they have Hage, Fowler? Will there be enough cap room for Hage, Fowler, and Reinbacher? I guess it'd be close, right? What's Veleno making, $1 million? I'm not. Maybe somebody can.
I don't know. I don't have my Puckpedia, but
900K.
and that might be a problem, right? Because if Age is going to sign now, I'm thinking that part of the contract would be that he has to have an NHL game ready to burn that first year of his contract. So you got to keep that space open for Age if that's all you can afford.
Yeah, if Line A is on waivers, I think only percentage remains in the cap space, right? So it should be fine. Yeah. Well, they might have to do something with Line A here. That might be the solution, but let's hope the capologists are working overtime in Montreal there and they get it sorted out, because that would be too bad if they couldn't. They were handcuffed as far as even calling guys up, because, well, as my headline says on the Rhybacher, I had a look at him again yesterday. You saw the game yesterday, Rick, or
no,
some
I
of it?
did not get a chance to. I'm sorry.
Oh, you
I
didn't
did not
see it? Okay, well, you'll see it today, because he's I'm letting the cat out of the bag. He's my Habs prospect of the week. And I've got all of the video of the game yesterday, and it's extensive. Whenever I've got 10 plus minutes on a player from a game, it's good. Unless, he was a total tire fire, and that's not the case. It was this guy is whoa. You're gonna want to see this video, folks. It's something else. He's more than ready. Absolutely. Okay. Why don't we go to your draft prospect of the week here?
Absolutely, Grant.
Get on those glasses and just a sec here.
Yes, sir.
All right, bring him up and tell us all about this guy.
Igor Shilov. Look at that shot, man. He has a heck of a shot. Center for Victoriaville, but I think he's going to be a left winger in the NHL. 57 games, 30 goals, 48 assists. He's 55% of the faceoff, which is impressive. So here he is, number 9 in black. Boom. Great shot. Quick release.
Ooh, yeah.
He definitely has that ability to put the puck in the net. And the next goal is going to be somewhat similar. Here he goes. Nice little quick move here. Catch it. Whoop. Another good shot. He gets it off pretty quickly. Pretty good skater. This is going to be a nice quick pass, but missed opportunity here right around the net. Happens, but it hit the goalpost, by the way. And the next play, too, is going to be a little bit more of his playmaking ability. Here he goes. Puck goes. Is going to get behind the net here. And he's going to do a nice puck protection move here. Uses body well, comes back, boom. So that's a nice goal for his teammate there. Good passing ability. He really could feather a really precise pass through traffic. Nice cross pass here. Boom, almost scores, but really placed it well through 2 men. Here we go. I like this little move here.
Oh, okay.
Boom.
I just gotta.
That was pretty good.
You said cross ass pass.
The cross ice pass. Sorry, I didn't even come off. That's cross ice pass. You kind of said that a bit quickly. Maybe it came off as that. But
I think I did that once on a. I think I did that once on a date, and it didn't turn out too well. The old cross ass pass. But okay. Sorry. Sorry. Okay, go ahead.
This is, I think, my favorite quality he possesses. Right. I really think he's really good at gaining the blue line, and here he comes. Finds the openings, moves around, and there he goes. Nice entry. He does that really, really well. And defensively, he's inconsistent. Now, when he plays well, he does plays like this, right? Comes in, boom, just steals the puck away, and then they go back.
That guy wasn't very fast.
No, he was not. That's one thing. So here he is, opportunity. This is when he's not so great, right? The other team's going, yeah, I think he could skate a bit better than that.
You're right. Especially at the NHL pace. Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. And you're going to see another play like this right after where same thing, right? Almost puck gets stolen away, and here he goes. He's not really going too hard right there to back check. So there's a lot of inconsistencies with his play. He gets a ton of minutes with Victoriaville, and I think that's where his numbers are really that high. And he's playing center, and he's really good at the faceoff circle, as I said. 55% is impressive. There's moments where he's really well positioned and smart, and there's moments where he's not moving his feet. He's got that he's a total finesse player, Grant. He feathers really precise passes through traffic, and he's really nice backhand, and he could do a lot of things with finesse, and he finds openings, and he's smooth when he does that. But there's not a lot of hard skills or aggressive skills in my book with Shilov, and I don't think he's going to be a center in the NHL. You could see that his feet just don't move enough, and he's not consistent enough with his defensive effort. You like the skill, but I think it's just, to me, at times it's a little bit too much soft skills, in my opinion, and that's the part that bothers me. And I've seen him in person too, and it was a little bit the same thing where you just kind of, come on, bud, you got to get moving now a little bit, get involved a little bit in the play. You're really good with the puck on the stick, but when it's not there, you kind of got to do something a little bit more, and he doesn't always. So is he a first-round talent? I guess skill-wise, I could see a team taking a chance that he's going to produce in the NHL, but I think he's a late first-round pick to me. I've seen some people as high as 15, and I just don't see that in my opinion. I don't know if you've seen him a little bit, Grant, or if you had a chance yet. But
you've described him exactly what. I mean, I watched one game, and I just said, okay, this is I wouldn't take him till the second round, ideally.
Yeah.
Like if he's there, you've got an early second round pick, and he's there, then you're highly considering them, and hope that the defense comes. I don't see a center either. I agree with that. Although if he 55% as a rookie. He is a rookie, right? In the queue.
Yeah. In the queue, he's a rookie. Yeah, played in the USHL with Green Bay last year.
Right, but I mean, as a rookie in the queue, 55, maybe maybe he's someone that can help with draws too, makes your NHL team, and not necessarily keep playing at center, but able in situations to take some draws for you. That increases your value a little bit as well.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, size is okay. I like the puck protection and the puck skills, good shot. So there's some offensive skills there. This isn't a great draft, and maybe a team says, well, let's take you get late in the first, and there's question marks with every prospect at that point. Typically, a team will lean towards a guy that's needs work on defense but has the first round skill. So maybe like what you say, that in that instance, then he goes somewhere between 20 and 32, right? I think just from what I've seen so far, I would say 25 to 40 is probably his landing spot in the draft.
I agree 100%. That's kind of where I was placing him, in that general area myself too. Again, because of what he doesn't have, and it's also that the numbers can be a bit misleading. It's not a great year for the Q this year. A lot of a few guys are, the level hasn't been great, as not great this year for the Q, and he's taken on some teams that are struggling a lot. So he's taking advantage of that. The one thing I will say too, though, Grant, I've noticed quickly, and I didn't really have a chance to break down carefully the numbers. He tends to play pretty well on the road. Statistically, his numbers are better on the road than they are at home. That's not a bad quality too. That might help him a little bit.
Yeah. Okay. Fairly certain the placing any player on waivers would be a last resort. Waivers after the trade deadline is fairly safe, as any team that claim them cannot play them this season, including postseason. Yeah. The placing any player on waivers would be a last resort.
I think it's waivers for Laval, though. We're not looking. I think that the Habs are not taking waivers to be picked up by a team. I think it's waivers for Laval, unless a team runs into even a non-playoff team runs into a terrible injury situation and they don't want to burn any of their youngsters. Then you might see a Valeno picked up if he's put on waivers, or even a Liney if they're a little bit desperate. But it's really waivers, I think, for Laval. It's not. I agree. I don't think a playoff-bound team is necessarily going to be looking at the waiver wire because, as you said, they can't use the players anyways.
Right. But he's kind of contradicting himself here, saying it would be a last resort, but then he's also saying that it's fairly safe. So
I get it.
Wouldn't it be a first resort? I don't quite. Maybe you can clarify what you mean by that, for Summers. It sounds like you're saying it's a last resort, but then you're also saying that it's what you should be done. So anyway, I'll get him to maybe clarify what he means by last resort. If it is safe to do, then that sounds like the solution to me. Place somebody on waivers. Terminating a contract. Hutson's make $950K this year. I know. Hey, that's why you draft. That's why you hold on to your draft picks, and you can, like we've got what. Demidov, Cappy's on his ELC, right? Hutson's on his ELC. Demidov's on his ELC. So you've got two top 6 players on their ELCs making $950K, and top minute defensemen all making $950K. That's why part of the reason why it's so good to have a good young prospects. Slav is the first Habs player, and he did it last night, ever to have 3 50-point seasons before the age of 22. Now, I went back and looked and thought, geez, I bet you there aren't even that many that that did it twice before the age of 22. From what I can gather, and that maybe I'm missing someone, but I look pretty. I looked at Beliveau, I looked at Boom Boom Jaffrey, I looked at, all of these guys that potentially Mario Tremblay, on and on. Richer, like all of these guys, Naslin, whatever. Guy Lafleur, Henri Richard, before 2 years ago, in 100 years, over 100 years with the Montreal Canadiens history, were the only two that had done it twice before the age of 22, let alone 3. None had done it 3. So Slav is in rare territory here. But since Hutson has done it, this is his second year, right, of getting 50 plus, and Slav did it for a third time. So 4 guys in the Habs history have had 2 or more 50-point seasons before the age of 22, and 2 of them are Slav and Hutson from the last 3 drafts. And Hutson is the only Habs prospect to have 2 straight 60-point seasons, or sorry, to have 2 60-point seasons before the age of 22. Hutson, and he's a defenseman. So pretty impressive.
It is incredible. Fantastic, great find, Grant. That's going to really pump up everybody's Habs fan Sunday afternoon there, and I'll be happy to hear that one from you, Grant.
And presumably Demi is going to hit 50 here, and he'll have he'll have a chance then next year, before the age of 22. You would think that he would hit 50 next year as
Oh,
well. So then he become the third in the last 3 years to do it, or 2 years. And again, in club history, they'd only had two, and now they're going to have three within a 2 year
unreal.
span that do it. So it's just this might be the best under 22. Like when you think about it, the under 22 crop that the Habs have right now, Slav, Demi, Hutson, Fowler, Hage, Pickford, on and on there. I don't know that the Canadians have ever had a more promising, like, quality and quantity combination of under 22 talent than they do right now. And I mean, that's a team that has 24 Stanley Cups, right? So I really look forward to the future with this club. I think it was disappointing. I thought that they didn't go for it this year, but there are holes, and it's the youngest team in the league, and they do need more experience. Mind you, I think playoff experience is important, and that's why I wanted them to add, even if they don't go far this year, at least go a round or 2 rounds, but maybe they can anyway. And but I really hope, and I think that the only way they can do that is with Hage, Reinbacher, and Fowler coming up and contributing here, because I think they potentially are the solutions to some of the woes that they have right now. So let's hope that they can get something sorted out with this cap crap, I guess is what I'll call it.
Yeah, because the interesting part is all three of them are not only are they talented young players on their own, like no matter what, but they're young talented players that are coming up that are literally going to fill the exact need that the Habs have right now.
Yeah,
Goaltending, right defense, secondary scoring. That's all the things that Montreal need right now is those three guys by fluke. And
yeah,
the great thing too is and talk about all those great young players Montreal have. There's such a nice balance between the offense and the defense, and wingers and centers. It's a wonderfully well built lineup. And whatever's missing, which is fourth line size, things like that. It's the easiest part of building a team to find is those fourth line guys that could play a physical game. When you have talent like Montreal have, those type of things are really hard to acquire on the trade front or the free agent market. And so, what a wonderful position Montreal are in, and boy, are their fans going to love hockey for the next few years.
yeah. I got a text from Rocco Zappia there just as we were starting. I've got friends that are good timing. They always seem to, just when the podcast starting, of course they don't know, right?
Right.
But he said that, man, this draft class sucks. I guess it's not real deep. He's, you keep seeing these guys that you had a lot of hope for that aren't really panning out.
Yeah.
If that is the case too, there was talk that Montreal was working on a huge deal. That seems to be
Yeah.
they're not. They're not. I'm kind of glad that they're not revealing this, because just as with that Parayko deal now, like, how does Mertka feel today? How does Hellenius feel about, like, when these rumors get out that, oh yeah, there's a deal, and then the players don't get moved, how
Yeah.
do they feel about it? So I'm kind of glad that we haven't got details on who specifically perhaps they were targeting. Of course, no, people will keep speculating, and at some point an insider, even if it's made up, will or a wannabe insider will say, well, this was the deal. But whether you can choose to believe it or not, but trust me, that's coming at some point here from somebody. But Montreal, Hughes has made some of his biggest deals at the draft, right? And it's also been said that maybe they revisit a big deal at the draft, at draft time. So, and they'll have a better idea of where they're at after the playoffs too. And better idea with which guys are the winners, which guys are going to help them win, and perhaps contend for a cup in the future. They'll have a better idea at the end of the playoffs this year than they have right at the moment. So maybe not a real strong draft class. I mean, the Habs could still draft anywhere from about 13 to 31. So we don't know that either. Let's say they end up, their pick is like at 25 or something like that. I think today, if the season ended and they didn't make is it the semifinals? It's the last four. If you make the last four, then you pick in the last four, right? So if they don't make the conference finals, and if the season were to end today, I think they'd be, win percentage wise, they'd be probably somewhere around 25, right? 23 to 27 somewhere. So that may not be that enticing to them, and maybe at the draft they look at trading their first round pick at that point to maybe try to get this one of the missing pieces that they're looking for, and maybe part of a big deal like they did the Kirby Doc deal at draft. They did the Alex Newhook deal at draft. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Dobson, exactly. That was, I knew there was another one that was a pretty big one. So yeah. Right, maybe that's what they look at, and tune in to that show, folks. The day of the draft, boy. Maybe I'll do another 8-hour marathon. No, I'm not doing that again. No more 8-hour shows. I'm still recovering from that.
Oh yeah, it was a tough day. But it's going to be interesting too, Grant, because, and I'd have to look at it again carefully, but I think some of the teams that are picking in the first few rounds maybe didn't get to give up as many players as they like. Calgary gave up some of their players, and they got like 2 first-round picks for the next 3 drafts, which is great if you're rebuilding. If a team like the Rangers, I don't think they didn't get great value for Panarin, so they're kind of stuck with, I think they got 1 first-round pick. I don't know if they got a second one. They might have one now. Winnipeg, that is one of the bottom 5 teams in the league. They don't have a second-round pick. They only have 1 first. So there's a lot of teams that are finishing near the bottom of the standings that have to rebuild this thing, that don't have multiple first-round draft picks or even second-round picks. So you got to think that some of those teams might be looking to move players to be able to draft, to get some draft picks, because they're rebuilding anyways. So maybe there's some guys that might be made available that are unexpected.
Yeah.
So that might be something to look at. It's hard to tell. I mean, there's also the bad part is that the cap is going up again, so there's not going to be as many teams that might be looking to get rid of players, which sometimes happens. So it's going to be volatile. And again, like Rocco said, with the quality of the draft not being great this year, and some guys might be looking to either move first-round picks, but some people might be thinking, well, we need more picks to try to find a steal in there somewhere because there's just not that many options. So there's all these things that are going to play around, and I think there's going to be a lot of discussions, strategic discussions with a lot of teams behind closed doors in the weeks leading up to the draft, because there's going to be a lot of things to consider, I think, this year, more than usual.
Yeah. Well, tune in to HabsCast. We'll be, come June, it'll be all draft, like, it's not like when the season ends here, because I'm obviously scouting background, and so are you. So we'll be doing lots of draft casts leading up to the draft, and this will be the spot to be, folks. You want your draft info. I'll be doing a lot more scouting once the season ends of the Habs too, and I'll get up to speed. And we'll do draft rankings too. as we go
Yeah.
forward here. I'm still not
Yeah.
comfortable doing it because I haven't seen enough. You know, I don't like to throw something out there without it being as accurate and as well prepared, being as well prepared as possible. So I'm not just gonna, look at 6 independent lists, come up with a consolidated ranking and throw it out there just for the heck of doing
Right.
it. I've never done anything like that. It's my list, and
Yeah.
I do know that Tommy Blyle is someone that I really like. I'm going to do a special, my own scouting look at him some point this week. He just set a record for rookie Q defenseman this past week, the most assists
Yeah.
by a rookie defenseman in the Q in history, which I thought was pretty interesting. He's over 60 assists now, so I really wonder, like, if you'd have said at the start of the year, well, there's another defenseman that may go ahead of Xavier Villeneuve, people would have looked at you cross-eyed, but it would not surprise me if Tommy Blyle goes ahead of Villeneuve in the draft.
Yep. It's not out of the realm of possibilities. A heck of a puck mover, and boy,
Skater.
yeah, he doesn't have the dynamic quality that Villeneuve have, but the size difference also matters. I'm not saying Ball is a very big guy, but he's it's a little closer to project him to the NHL than Villeneuve if the offensive tools are not as able to translate. And he's somebody that again is falling under the radar still a little bit, but I think in the next few weeks, I want to see a little bit more of him. I've only seen him, I think, 3 times, so I want to get another few more viewings before I could really be sure of it.
Yeah.
Skating is good, not great, but he's got nice edges, and I think there's reason to think that he could improve. His off-ice testing is going to be important too. I think it's going to answer a lot of questions for a lot of players, which is normal. So,
Okay.
but I definitely have my mind open to move up Tommy Blyle quite a bit. But I just want to see a little bit more.
Yeah. Oh, interesting you say about his skating. I thought it was fantastic, but I guess I'll have to keep looking at it. He's certainly got nice edges and is smooth, that's for sure.
Yeah, no, that's excellent. That part of it, just that dynamic, that little second gear. I from when I saw it was good, not great for a guy his size, but I want to see more of him. Again, it's I probably haven't seen a game from him in 2 months around. So, and guys keep improving, especially in the second half of the season. So I definitely want to see a bit more before I fully commit.
Okay. Do I still put out a draft book? No draft book this year. I'm not going to spend 8 weeks, 16 hours a day putting out a draft book to make $2,000 this year. No, I had my fill of that. Thank you, though. I just, it was a labor of love, really. I think I made $5,000. For when you added up the hours, I was making about $3 an hour for the effort that I put into it every year. And now I'm doing this HabsCast. I'm focusing on the Habs prospects. I'm focusing on the Habs, and I just don't. For me to put out a proper draft guide again, because I did all the production, I did all the layout, the design, the writing, the editing, the everything, the scouting. I just don't have the time, because then it would take away from what is my full-time job now. It's HabsCast. So no, there'll be no draft book this year, 4 summers, but I'll do rankings, and along with my chief amateur scout Rick Springhetti, and I'll also get some input from Blaine, but I'll be I'll be talking to my NHL scouting contacts as I haven't really been doing a lot, because I like to, give them as much information as they give back to me. And I haven't been in the position to do that. It would be all just getting, and that wouldn't be fair. And so once I've done the proper scouting and I have a good feel, then I'll start asking my NHL scouting friends, their opinions on certain players and stuff, and I'll get up to speed. Probably in May, maybe we'll do a draft list and then update it again in June or something like that, Rick. It will depend somewhat on the Habs too. If the Habs are in the thick of the playoffs in May, I may not do a draft ranking until June, but I will. And what I might do is put out a short little, maybe 10-page with rankings and a couple of things. Maybe. We'll see. But it's not going to, the 80-page draft guide, last year was my last one of that, I would think. There's just so many free things out there, and 500 people do draft rankings now, and people would rather not pay a cent than to pay $20 for a draft guide. So it's just something that I had to move on from, even though I enjoyed it, but it's not like I still don't follow the draft, and I will be doing rankings along with help from my chief amateur scout, Rick Springhetti here.
Of course. So. And we love to talk prospects with all you people, so don't hesitate to watch some junior hockey and let us know what you think. We could have some nice discussions, I'm sure.
Yeah. Hope you have Snake on to compare your list. No, Snake has been given the word by the Sick Podcast Network that he can't come on here anymore. So I don't know. I guess maybe well, draw your own conclusions from that. That's what it is. What has prospect should we be more aware of who has been a bit under the radar? Well, that's a good question, Johnny. I did a profile on Vinnie Roer last week, and when you look at his stats this year, you think, so that's what I had been doing. I hadn't looked at him, but after scouting him, I absolutely love his engine and his competitiveness. I think he's really under the radar, and he'll join Laval in the playoffs here, and he'll really help them, I believe. Does he become an NHLer? I think so, down the road. He's just so good. Now, people are saying Mooney and Sawyer, but they're not under the radar, folks. Like, under the radar means under the radar, right? Sawyer's getting lots of attention this year. Mooney, if anything, like, he's certainly not underrated. You got to keep in mind that the kid's 5'7", 5'6", and the odds that he makes the Canadians are low, regardless of what he does. But
I understand. Yeah,
he's definitely not underrated. If anything, he's overrated. Honestly, I love LJ Mooney, but we got to look at it realistically. He may never play for the Montreal Canadiens.
There's a reason why guys are drafted in the fourth round, right? It's a good fourth round pick, but it is a long shot to make it, especially at his size. That you can't really do. It's hard because you kind of have to be in the top two lines. I mean, a 5'9", 5'10" player in the fourth line doesn't really work too well. I'm a little bit intrigued by Alexis Corno.
Yeah. Oh yeah. No. For sure. He would be another guy that's under the radar a bit, although I think, he is gaining steam too in that regard. But yeah, for sure, Cornway on the goaltending end of things. But as far as a prospect, and nobody really talking about him, because you look at his stats and they're down this year, and you think, well, he's still only 21. He's playing in the Swiss league. It's a great league. Vinnie Roer, to me, is going to come. He was signed by the Habs last year. He's on loan to Zurich. So when his season's ended and Zurich's not at the top of the standings, it's probably going to be fairly soon. He'll come up to Laval and he'll help them. I project that he'll Pascal's going to love his work ethic, and he'll find a spot and help Laval this year at playoff time. So
Yeah, that was a really good video montage you put a few weeks ago on him because it really showed the evolution of his game and what we've heard that he has in him. He start to show a little bit more of that feistiness, that getting into opponents, and it's a really nice montage you put together. I encourage you all to look for it and watch it. You'll really appreciate what Vinnie Roer you might bring to the NHL one day.
that's right. Rick, you can take Snake's place to compare lists. Yeah, there you go. And Rick, yeah, Rick is, as far as I'm concerned, is every bit as good a scout as Snake, and in my mind, probably better. So he's just not, he's not as controversial. So Snake's more well known, but it shouldn't be. Yeah, that's you guys are in a great spot. Flyers first and more for Risto. Nah, let's remain mediocre. Oh, this is the Flyer fan. Yeah, we weren't going to give you first and more for Ristolainen. I don't think. There's still
Because
some
nobody else did either. No,
No,
it's
that's
not like
right.
they wanted that. They put him up there, and nobody bid on that offer. Nobody's going to give
Well,
that much for Ristolainen. I would have liked it, but not quite that much. Maybe a second round and a decent prospect. I wasn't going first for
no.
Risto. Too many injuries, and there's. I love the physicality, but there's aspects of his game where he's not always as quick as he needs to be, and there's some erratic decision making with the puck at times. Again, I wouldn't have said no, but not for that much.
No, no, for sure. Somebody saying Protz, and again, no, I find that a lot of people really like Protz, and he's not under the radar. He gets mentioned on here all the time, so no, not under the radar. I don't think he's right about, he gets right about the amount of attention that he should. I don't know that he'll ever play for the Canadians because they just, and it's not, it's not a knock against Owen Protz, but he's a left defenseman on a team that might have the best left defense group in the league. So he's a long shot to play for the Habs, and because of that, I would not say that would be a guy that I would think first and foremost is under the radar. But I like Owen Protz. He's a solid. He'll be a solid AHL defenseman, and we'll see from there.
He's not in an easy position, Grad, too, because his style of play doesn't warrant a lot of attention. He's not going to make any highlight reel. He was playing on a bad team for a long time, and now that his team is a really good one, and they're going through everybody in the OHL. Well, they got a bunch of stars now in the team that are getting all the attention. So Owen Protz always finds a way to fly under the radar, unfortunately. But yes, as you said, he's a nice prospect to have and somebody to see what happens in the future.
Right. And another person mentioning Logan Sawyer just goes to show you that no, he's not under the radar. If a person keeps getting mentioned, then it just goes to show you no. People have high expectations now for Logan Sawyer. Under the radar maybe is the wrong term. You're not maybe he's like, because he was a mid-round pick and because he's made improvements this year. I would say one of the most improved prospects, but there's lots of hype around Logan Sawyer now. And again, I don't know that he'll ever play for the Montreal Canadiens. So we'll see, though. And again, it's because they're going to be looking for certain types of players to, Logan Sawyer's not going to be ahead of Demidov or Slavkovsky or Caulfield or Hage or, I can name 6 or 7 guys or Suzuki that are ahead of him. Will he be a bottom 6 guy? Skating's got to still keep coming. That's the thing for him. But he's gotten bigger. He's made huge strides this year, and he's now probably a top 10 prospect on the Canadiens, or damn close to it if he's not. And going into the year, I may not have had him top 15. So he's climbing. And certainly if you say most improved prospect, Logan Sawyer for me is definitely near the top of the Canadiens list. All right. Let's get to Reinbacher here. Ben Merrill. No. All right. This is firefighters against Rochester last night. That was, I like those uniforms. Yeah, they are pretty cool. Reinbacher was something else last night. I'm telling you, he's improving by the period. I swear. Like it's just, but he was easily the best player on the ice last night. I love how he gets to the pucks first there. You know, he just shoveled it ahead to his defense partner, took the hit, but he always is the first pucks on puck retrieval. And look at that little play. You know, he just he's always making the smart. Oh Jesus, I hate this thing. I try to. Sorry. The little thing to make you to make it bigger. You know, the little square in the corner.
Yeah.
I can't click it because the slider is over the top of it, and then ends up sliding. Oh, it did it again. Okay. All right. I can't make the window bigger. Sorry, folks. I'll have to just go with the small window here. Squint. All right. I'll do this. It's funny. Like I put the size of the screen under 100%, and the video gets bigger. Explain that to me.
I don't know.
There, 80%, and it's bigger now. Just the comments are tiny. It's weird, eh? Okay,
Yeah.
now I can see it. So that's a little trick. If you can't open the window to full window, reduce your zoom to 80%, and then the window gets bigger. Anyway, sometimes I don't understand math, Rick. Okay. Well, I hope you guys have been watching this. I've been going a little off script, but look at that move, eh? Do you see how he reversed?
Yeah.
I'm gonna reverse this just like Reinbacher. Okay, but here, like for a 6'3" guy, look, I love when you see this snow, the spray like that, you know that the guy's got good edges, eh?
Yeah.
But his skating is just so good, and there'll be a couple of instances where we see it. There's his assist. You see how nice fake, eh?
Yeah.
And back makes it look like he's making the pass, and then shifts his body. He's really good at that. This guy's got power play potential. He's got the tools. He moves along the line really well. He shifts his body well. He's got good vision. He makes nice passes. He's got a good low shot that gets in on net. There's I like how he joined the rush here and he tries the wraparound almost, but you can just see his confidence is just gone sky high, just building week by week. Yes. And here he is again in the offensive zone. Nice pass, nice play. People that say he doesn't process the game, I don't get that. I disagree. Like, I'm sorry.
I completely disagree with that one. And when I saw him every time I've seen him in person, that stood out. The first thing I stood out was that he processes the game really well.
Yeah. I like even the other day, someone who will remain nameless said it, and I mean, I didn't say anything at the time. And no, he's look at the passing, right? Instant, right? He's a really good passer in the offense. I love the mobility there, right? He shifts
exactly.
He shifts back and forth. He's just a natural. He really is. And then at 6'3.5", with the long stick and everything, it's just wow. Like, he's a scout's dream. He really is. And even there was a goal against, but he got his stick on the puck, and it had nothing to do with him going in the net. He was on for 2 goals against. Look at him join the rush here too. Eh?
Wow.
On for 2 goals against, but they were both on the power play, on the PK, and he was he was not to blame in any way, shape, or form. Look at him come back here and then back into position. It's like it's like he's playing in another league. Like, it's like a junior A guy asked to go back to midget or something. I just find that he's in a class of his own here at this point at the AHL level. So overripe, yeah, I'd say past overripe. It's time. It's time to bring him up. But you see in every one of these, I've not seen nice. Cream's the guy. His range is fantastic, but
It is.
I see no blatant mistakes from him. I have not for the last month, like none. It's every now and then he doesn't get the puck out because the guy gets a stick on it or something, but costly turnovers. Like I haven't seen a jack eye turnover from him in a month. Now, and there's no comparison his skating and Carrier's or jack eyes or actually I think he might skate better than Gooley even. Like he's yeah, I just like he looks like one of the 4 best Habs defensemen right now if he were to play. Look at how he quickly his first 3 steps for his size are excellent
Yes.
too. It's not just that he gets going, he's going from the first stride. And there's one that didn't get through, but good luck getting past him.
No way.
It ain't happening.
His head is always up, with or without the puck. He's looking, he's scanning, he's reacting. There's never a time where he just doesn't know what to do. He knows what to do the moment he has to do something.
Look at that, and I don't know why Roy didn't shoot there. Like he set him up perfectly there for a shot. I'm glad he's on the power play there now because and then there again he gets the shot through. I thought he should have been playing on it earlier in the year too. I like Engstrom on the power play, but let's be serious here. Reinbacher is the ace defenseman that needs to be developed here, and it's a blessing in disguise that Engstrom got hurt in terms of Reinbacher's development, because now we're seeing just how good he is on the power play too. Look at how he got to that guy again. He's just so rangy, and that stick is so long. Look at him here. He manhandles this guy. Like you're a 5'10" forward going up against Reinbacher. Good luck.
And the thing too, Grant, to me is that he's physically strong. He seems to be gaining that strength, and he could play the body well. But the way he engages physically, he doesn't have to take the person out. He just wraps his arms around them and he gives them nothing. So you could hit hard, but he's really effective at just tangling up the opponent and not giving them much.
Look at that. I want to just, how often do the Canadians look? The puck comes to him here, off his skate to a stick out. How often does the Canadians defenseman lately just bobble it in the crease area, right?
Yeah.
Or don't get to it. He's not only does he clear the crease, look at him move up here, eh?
Oh.
He just like the range is just crazy. He's in the middle of the ice, and a second later he's along the boards, but he clears the crease. He clears pucks in the crease, and that is maybe the Canadians' biggest issue right now. So, and look at him here. Gets over and then rubs them out.
That's it.
Really good at boxing out. Love his gaps. There's another hit. I see comments on, he's not hard to play against. He's not tough. No. Wrong. There are no weaknesses to his game. Look at this skating here. Look at this.
Oh.
Look how he got back there. That's a 6'3.5" guy. I might replay this 6 times. I hope nobody minds. Look at the burst.
Wow.
That made me salivate. And then he pushed him into the corner. And that's near the end of the shift. Right?
Good
Oh,
read.
yeah.
And there goes a goal.
Oh, he third assist on that one. He made the play right here.
Look at that. Oh,
Actually, we'll back it up a bit. He has it. Yeah. He made the first pass there, so no assist, but he's plus 16 now. For a guy that's only played 60-some games in the AHL, plus 16. Go look at Simo Edmondson's plus minus his first 60 games, or Harley, or any of those guys. They weren't plus 16. There again, he gets a shot through. I think he's had 19 shots the last 5 games or something like that. And here he is again, like he finds the shooting lane, right? Which I also like. He gets shots on net. Now on here he is clearing. That's Geertsen, the guy that beat up
oh boy.
That beat up what's his face? Flo Jackeye yesterday.
He's a big boy.
Yeah. And here he is, take him out in front of the net. And last game he ripped his helmet off in a headlock. Geertsen. So people that say that he's not rough or tough, no, trust me, he's gonna be plenty. He's just starting to display, like, use his physicality in the AHL. Hey, 60 games in North America takes a little bit of time, you know.
Of course.
You're an Austrian. You know, wasn't that long ago he was playing minor hockey in Austria. So a little bit of a jump as far as tough ruggedness goes and physicality, and takes a little adapting. But here again, look at how he got his.
Look at that.
See how far away he was when he turned, and then he got his stick on it because of his speed and that long stick. His quickness, his range is incredible. There, perfect textbook.
Yeah.
Right. And then passes it back. The right play again. So it was tied 3-3 late. He gets a really good shot. He should have ended it here. Again, he's moving the puck well, making the right plays, then check out the save that's made here on his shot. Distributing it perfectly. Moves it over, gets in the spot. Dauphin gets it to him. Back to him one more time in here. Look at that toe save.
Yeah.
That was labeled. That would have been the game-winning goal with a minute left, and people would be gushing, you know, an inch away from getting the game winner last night. And here he is in overtime. And look at how he gets back here. Effortless.
And then there goes stick.
Yeah, that long friggin' stick, eh? The mobility. Still can't believe some of the people. Oh, you trade Reinbacher for Kadri, and are you nuts?
No way. No.
That was the last 5 seconds in OT. Okay, 2-on-1 coming up against him, and again he plays it perfectly. Gets a stick right there. You know, forces a guy to take a shot that was easy to save. So every time I see him, it's just better and better and better. And from a scouting perspective, Rick, I like him more I think he'll be better than Dobson. Certainly better defensively. I don't think it's even a question. It may be a couple of years away. Offensively, I think he moves the puck better than Dobson does on the power play. May not have Dobson's shot at this point, but I think he can be as close to as productive as Dobson down the road offensively. And I think, in the future, he's going to be better than Dobson defensively. There's more grit to his game than with Dobson. And I think I see Hutson and Reinbacher being 25-minute a night defenseman in the future, top pairing, and just, you know, compared to if they'd have taken Matvei Michkov, or if they should have taken this guy, I'm completely convinced that Canadiens fans 5 years from now will just say, "Oh, I'm so glad that we took Rhybacher instead of Michkov."
I could not agree more. And I know at the day of the draft, I was like, oh, I was torn between Michkov, Reinbacher, and Carlson. Those are the three. Not Carson. St. Louis player. Center.
Dvorsky.
Dvorsky. Sorry, I keep calling him Dvorak, and that's why I was being careful. Those are the three guys I was looking at, and when I had a chance to see Reinbacher play in person, that sealed the deal. Reinbacher was the guy by far. As good, as great as those clips are, when you see him in person, you appreciate even more. The quick breakout passes, the little subtle moves he does, the way he reads the play, the way he reacts without the puck. Because the camera will follow the puck, but he does a lot of amazing things when he doesn't have the puck, and in terms of positioning, in terms of getting ready, and all those things. And these are the things that make me think that he's ready for the NHL. And I don't think the adaptation is going to be that long, because he has the physical tools, and he's also highly intelligent. Highly intelligent guys usually can adapt pretty well to the NHL. He's not a tools guy. He's an intelligent guy with the tools. So I don't think the adaptation is going to be too long. And again, he can bring physicality, but it's controlled. He's not going to take himself out of the play to be physical either, and he's not going to push it for no reason. Defensemen play a lot of minutes in a game. You can't just go run around after every opponent you see just to make a highlight reel, a body check, right? If you could neutralize an opponent using your body properly, good enough. And he does that very well. But when you can lay out a hard hit, he'll do that too. The skating is unbelievable. The reach is unbelievable. The puck movement is great. I'm on board, man. It's time. It's time to bring him up. And he's ready, and the team needs him. It's not like I'm not saying you should bring him up because he's the best option available. They have nobody else. He should bring it up because he's ready and he feels a need.
Yeah. Some people say, well, what about Laval? Well, Laval is there to help the Montreal Canadiens. Like, that's their purpose in life, is to develop players that will help the Montreal Canadiens hopefully win Stanley Cups. Laval not winning is not nearly as important as Montreal not winning. Montreal making the playoffs. Montreal making the playoffs is a lot more important than Laval finishing first in their division. It doesn't matter if they finish first in their division. They're making the playoffs. Reinbacher could always go back down if need be, but I think he's up for good once he gets called up. And I also think, like, he's not playing with Lane Hutson in Laval. You put him with Lane Hutson, out with Suzuki, Caulfield, and whoever, put him with great players. And I don't see how he can fail, given that what we see, the package that he's got. You can put out whoever you want on the other side. He's ready, and he's going to prosper in the NHL, and he's going to be a 25-minute-a-night defenseman in the NHL. I have no doubts about it. It's, you look back at that draft now, I'm comfortable saying that they did not screw up picking him 5th overall. He's exactly what they need down the line. Dvorsky and Leonard were the guys for me that, if Leonard was the other guy for me, that if you didn't take Reinbacher, I wouldn't have minded Ryan Leonard. I had Dvorsky, Leonard just ahead of him, but certainly, though, any of those three I was fine with. And if you ask me today, like, the biggest need is that big right defenseman that's Reinbacher. So, kudos to Marty Lapointe and Nick Bobrov. Yeah. I know people like to just say Nick Bobrov, but it's a two-headed monster there. In Montreal, Marty Lapointe and Nick are the chief scouts, and they work really well together. Nick, Nick the librarian and Marty the, Mr. Eye Test, work his ass off and go see everybody. But yeah, they're a great pair, and they're doing a fantastic job. And you got to give some kudos to Montreal's European scouting too, identifying them, and the Habs made a lot of trips. A lot of teams did. You don't go to Switzerland too often if you're a crossover scout, unless it's really, there's a really good prospect. And there's one this year, Simas Ignata Vicious.
Yes.
Crossover scouts are making special trips. If you know that they're going to Switzerland, because typically when they go over, you go to Finland and Sweden and you see a few. Well, if they're making special trips to Switzerland, the guy's a first rounder somewhere and maybe top 15. And anyway, and trust me, other teams loved Reinbacher too.
Yes.
Phoenix, Arizona was taking Reinbacher at 6 if Montreal didn't. They ended up taking the defenseman anyways in Simashev instead of Michkov. So yeah, just it's so, the future is so bright. And there's the other under 21 guy.
Yeah.
Right. I was talking Demidov, Fowler, We'll add Reinbacher in there, and he might be better than any of them at the end of the day. Probably not, but hey, his potential is great. Someone asked me Sider. Could he be as good as Sider? Maybe. Maybe he won't be quite as physical and as strong as Sider, but the rest of his game, the two-way, it's not. He's somewhere in that Harley Sider, potential here. A very sky-high potential for this kid. I think he'll be a first pairing guy with Lane Hutson.
Absolutely, all day, every day. And the defensemen develop until 26, 27. Forwards, usually you get the total package a little sooner. So there's still a lot of learning to do for Reinbacher. There's still some runway ahead of him to get even better.
Yeah, for sure. Oh yeah, he's not the finished product. I mean, but we've just seen like the improvement in 40 games this year, right? Are we waiting on Reinbacher because we're in must-win territory and we're reluctant to introduce another rookie right now? I think they were waiting because they have 7 defensemen, and if they'd have called up Reinbacher before you could expand your roster, then you had to do something with Jackeye or Struble. And I don't think they wanted to lose him. They certainly weren't going to put either on waivers. So they were waiting because of that, because they can now have, they don't have to put one of those 2 on waivers if they call up Reinbacher now. But also they wanted him to ripen. A month ago, he wasn't ready. Today, he's ready. So, and there's also a big need. It just so happens. So, for me, it's a perfect storm for the Reinbacher call up, but I also think it's a perfect storm for the Fowler call up, with there being 3 back-to-back games here. I mean, if they can't make a move or figure something out and they can only call up one, it might have to be Fowler at this point. But geez, I think they have to make some sort of a move so that they can bring both these guys up and sign Hage. Those 3 moves over the next month.
I agree. And by the way, I love your point about Reinbacher, about having him ripen. I think part of the problem was that you didn't get enough consecutive games without missing some time to really get comfortable and to get some rhythm going in his improvement. And now that he had that, well, you saw what happened, right? He took a huge step forward, and hopefully that'll be what they were waiting for him before calling him up. Who do I call up too? It's a good question. with all these games in 2 nights. And one thing I will say that if they do have to use Montembeault, I'd make sure it's on the road. I would not make him start in Montreal because I think it would be rough for him to start. I think that's an extra pressure he doesn't need. So try to make him start on the road if you really have to.
Somebody's saying, who do you take out if you bring up Reinbacher, Carrier? Well, no. What you do is you take out Jack-Eye, and you have 3 right defensemen, 3 left defensemen. Gooley Matheson's not working. They're both lefties, and it's just not working. What were they minus? Like, is Matheson -6 playing with them the last 2 games or something like that? It's
-3 last night.
And I think he was -3 the game before, if I'm not mistaken. So, you got 2 lefties on that pairing, and it's not working. So it would be Jack-Eye out, and for now anyway, and Reinbacher in and have 3 lefties and 3 righties. That would be. I mean, Jack-Eye's playing 8 to 12 minutes a game anyway, right? So.
Exactly.
I just for now at least that would be, and I think also ideally it's Carrier playing 8 to 12 minutes a game, as a 6th defenseman, and if you have Reinbacher up, you can do that once in a while, depending on the situation. Throw 2 lefties together on the 3rd pairing, Like Montreal's jumbling up the defense group all the time anyway. It's not like they're just rolling out 3 pairs, because you see, with Jack-Eye getting 11 minutes, Carrier getting 16 minutes, guys getting 25, they're jumbling it up all the time, and they continue to do that and put 2 lefties out at the same time, depending on the situation and stuff. But ideally, and I think now, starting now, Reinbacher's getting the 5th most ice time, Carrier is getting the 6th most ice time, and the other 4 are getting a little more, because they're considered the top 4 defensemen on the team at this point.
Right.
And you just work it out however, depending on situation. So that is
Absolutely.
what I think they'll do.
Yeah, and I think Carrier, even if you play Carrier 14 minutes a game, I think you'll like Carrier a lot more at 14 minutes a game than you do at 20. He'll and it's fair to him too, and it's fair to the team, because I know these guys are pros, but man, Matheson's body language on the bench was a lot of frustration, and he knows that he struggles with Goulet, and he's not blaming Goulet. He's not, it's just they don't work well together, and he knows it, and it's frustrating, and you get fed up of this of not succeeding. They have their pride, and you don't want to get any of their defensemen, their veteran defensemen, really fed up with playing on their offside. So that's one of the reasons too for you got to bring up Reinbacher, besides the fact that he's earned it.
Yeah, Nashville were willing to trade Askarov and 15 for Rhino. Yeah, well, their loss. They weren't getting them, and don't forget, at that time Montreal didn't have Dobson either. So
right,
you have to look for 5 years down the road, and they looked and said, okay, we need right defensemen. We're going to need right defensemen, and it was one of the major reasons why. I know they loved Leonard too, and they may have even had Leonard slightly ahead of Reinbacher, maybe. But, when you work in also the need and value aspect of that big right defenseman, it made it a no-brainer that he was the guy to take at 5. And I think they were bang on with that. That's how it's looking for me. Yeah.
I agree.
All right, Rick, listen, I've kept you here for 90 minutes. I better let you go. And I know, life awaits, right?
Right.
You got to go do some stuff. So I really appreciate it. I'm going to go. I got a bunch of comments here that I'll address, and I'll wrap it up here. Thank you so much, as always. Great Sunday show, as always. And How's your schedule this week? Are you think you can do a post game or two, perhaps?
Yeah, I definitely could do at least one. Definitely, I could
Okay.
do. We'll work it out together to see which one it's going to be. But I'm
Okay.
available for one or the other. So whatever you need, I'll work around it.
You're the man. Thank
Thank
you,
you.
as always, Rick. Great,
Thank you.
great look at the prospect, and I couldn't agree more with where you have him slotted. So my chief scout's doing the job.
Thank you,
We'll go.
everyone, and thank you, Grant, for another great Sunday.
Okay. Bye, Rick.
Bye bye.
Rick Springhetti, folks, the one and only. Gotta love him. Habs Sunday. Happy Sunday, gents. Donnie, was wondering where you were the last couple days, my friend. Great show and food for thought on the current and future Habs and Reinbacher sooner rather than later. Thanks, Don, and really thanks a lot for the $10. It's hey, your contributions over the past 2 months have kept me going. You alone, you're more than generous. Thank you so much. Okay, let's. I'll get to a few here. If you could redraft today, would you still have Jarosky as a first-round pick? I know you had some concerns about effort away from the puck in previous videos. Great win last night for the Habs. Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, I don't know. It's more of a question: would I have him as a top 15 pick, or even top 10? Because a month or so ago, I did a redraft, and Simo was on, and Simo said he had him top 5 now, and I said I think I had him 8th or something. Today I wouldn't have him that high, but certainly, yeah, definitely still still in the first round. I mean, defense is something you can work on, right? And that's especially, it just means he's going to need more time, I think. And the defense, it'll be AHL a couple of years probably, working on everything, getting stronger. For him, that's the biggest thing. He needs to get a little stronger, and but also I think get that North American coaching down the road. I mean, ceiling wise, he's top 15 all day, maybe top 10. Floor wise, second rounder. So you combine those two, and he's somewhere in between there, right? But definitely still at this point, I would say first rounder. Direct opponents having a hard time. Pittsburgh, Crosby injury. Malkin suspended. Yeah, that's true. But hey, has there been any word on Sanderson's injury? I mean, we've seen it a million times. Somebody leaves a game early, and it doesn't mean that they're out, right? Larkin again, exactly. Apparently injured. You can say apparently Sanderson injured as well. So we'll just have to wait and see on those two. But yeah, that's a good point that they're missing guys. But that doesn't always mean that teams lose. I mean, Montreal had some significant injuries, over the first 50 games of this season, and they stayed ahead of these teams that whole time. So other guys step up. But if Crosby and Malkin out will hurt Pittsburgh. There's no doubt about that. If Sanderson's out, yeah, that hurts Ottawa. And Detroit, well, they didn't get that other center, so Larkin out would affect them as well, I think. But again, you don't always know. Hughes will be busy in the summer. I hope it would. Nice to see Reinbacher up. Yeah, for sure. The end of the will be a turning point. 27, 28. Gally, Anderson, Deneau, Doc Carrier will be UFA, and 4 will be RFA. Are Anderson and Galley, are the contracts for 2 more years? Isn't it just one for at least one of them? I think so, eh? Next year, I think the end of next year will be a turning point, I believe. Hey, could be worse, could be a Flyers fan. Nah. Hey, Flyers have some pieces, and they're got a bunch of picks coming up again. Just keep rebuilding. Sad, but line A. Oh, here's Mr. Sparkle. Mr. Sparkle. Yosemite Saddam. It's sad, but line A is just done. Nobody wants him. The cost of unloading him wasn't worth it. Yeah, well, the big contract, right? Liney was so gifted, but some team will pay him. Oh yeah, he'll get another job next year. Listen, I'd be a lot sadder for him. He just married a terrific, beautiful woman. He's making $7.8 million. I don't really feel that sorry for him. He'll get another NHL job, and it could be a lot worse. Wait for the last few hours on draft day or close to where the Habs are drafting. Yeah. Calgary will be an interesting team to watch for the draft. Yeah, they're loaded. What if the big deal was for Tom Wilson? Maybe. Josh Anderson signed off on the deal. You just never know. GLG, by the way, he's a Flyers fan. You guys are in a great spot. Flyers first and more for Risto. Nah, let's remain mediocre. Well, maybe they're going to re-sign him too, right? And maybe, I don't know, maybe he gets traded at the draft. Looking forward to both your draft rankings prior to the draft. Hey, right on. Woof, that first period last night may be the worst period of hockey I've seen this core play. Slop brought his work boots. What, being outshot by 16 times is the worst period of hockey? Really? No. Slav put the team on his back last night. Absolutely. What Habs prospect should be more aware of who has been a bit under the radar? Yeah, okay, I answered that one. And again, a lot of people saying Logan Sawyer, so that means he's not under the radar. Koivu has been disappointing. I thought they picked him a little too high, but it was a feel-good pick, right? Saku's son, all that stuff. But hey, most third-round picks never make it anyway, so it's not the end of the world. And as usual, they made great picks after that. So Montreal wants to do a big move this summer. Pretty sure one of Danault, Galley, or Anderson will have to go. Yeah. Yep. No, Sawyer's. They've never talked about Sam Harris and Phil Erickson too. Well, yeah. Well, Simon likes Sawyer, so there's one exception to that French media. Marco went and interviewed him, so he likes him. I like him, but anyway. Well, Sam Harris, again, real long shot. Just skating's not there. There's always so many spots on the Habs. I don't even know if Sam Harris will be signed because 50 contracts, it's hard to say. But those guys are, you hope that they become decent AHLers. That would be about it. Papanicus, goal and assist last night. I think they scored 9 goals, though. I like him. He's a top 10 Habs prospect for me. He's a bit under the radar, too. the fourth energy line. Well, Jack-Eye, Papanicus, Thorpe. I think is the fourth line down the road. Ben Merrill. No, can't skate. Not really a young prospect. He's 23, but does William Trudeau? Just numbers wise, no. We haven't really. I thought he was a decent draft prospect 2 years ago, but I haven't really seen progression from him. He's kind of stalled in that regard. And others, they've drafted others, picked up others. So Trudeau, I would not think he's probably about 11, 12 on the depth chart right now. More physical and less offensive Dobson. Yeah. I think he moves the puck better than Dobson, to be honest with you. But we'll see. Rhybacher is ready, yes. I also think he's a little better one-on-one defender, boxes out better, more aggressive, better defender. Maybe not, quite maybe Dobson has a little better shot. I don't know. It's close. Sign him up for the big club, please. Time for Reinbacher to take some playing time from Cartier. Well, I think it'll be Jack-Eye. They got to go. They need 3 and 3. It's not working the 4, the 5-1 or 4-2. It's time. It's possible Hughes had a plan by not getting a right D. Yeah, well, I've been saying that. That's what you kind of. I mean, he has been coming on, and they said, well, we don't have to panic on a right D because Reinbacher looks like he could be ready. And then he's only been sensational all weekend. So Carrier's struggling, but what could be because he has to carry Jack-Eye and Struble. Yeah, but he doesn't play with those guys all the time. He plays, there's nights when he plays 22 minutes and Jack-Eye plays 8. So, 14 of those minutes aren't with Jack-Eye. So it's not that cut and dried, Tony. Wait till he puts on 20 pounds. I don't think he's going to put on 20 more pounds. 5, 10, maybe. Don't go by the weights that you see on websites for guys. He's probably 215 now. Don't see him playing at 235. 5, 10 more pounds is probably all. His lower body, I saw him 2 years ago. It was already, his legs were huge. So I don't expect that he will be putting on 20 more pounds. Doesn't need to. Yeah, I already answered that. The Laval coach did mention that he could use a bit more muscle. A bit. 5, 10 pounds. Reinbacher and Gooley together. Yeah. I want Hutson and Reinbacher. Hudson's his best fit, I think. They should bring up Reinbacher now so he'll be ready for the playoffs. Yes, I agree. People say that to try and justify the pick, but Dobson isn't tough, but Reinbacher critics love to glaze Dobson. Yeah, well, always got to complain about something. To have both Reinbacher and Dobson on the right side is fantastic. Yeah, that's a nice top 2 right D for sure. And both big. I mean, Dobson doesn't play big, but that range is nice. You know, I know I played a lot of hockey, and trying to get around a freaking 6'4" defenseman that can skate with that long stick, it's no easy chore. Kanyushkov will come eventually too. Yeah, I think he's also a trade bait option. Like Pickford, if you were to ask me, I would still rank Pickford a bit ahead as far as potential goes, but Kanyushkov's a little closer. Yeah, there is that option on the right side too. It's okay for a guy like Dobson to be soft, but it's an issue with Reinbacher. I don't understand what you're saying. He's not soft. What's his average time on ice? Yeah, I didn't. That's a good question. I didn't look it up, but I mean, it was shift after shift after shift. And I meant to look that up, and thanks for the reminder. I will quickly do that on my Huddle Instat. David Reinbacher. Just give me one moment here, folks. Says 26-35, and the game before 28-12. I love it. So 55 minutes on the weekend, 27.5 minutes a game. Good. He's getting the crash course and being ready to join the les habitants. Scouting's good, but the development too. Yeah, that's true. Better development for sure, and more trust in the picks. Don't get me started on that. Watching the Habs TV on the drafts, LaPointe and Ballrow seem like they trust each other, and the best part is that they interact so well with their scouts. That's well put. Nashville were willing to yeah, the Askarov thing. Yeah. Never give away your pick before they play in the NHL. Gary Cornway. Good evening. Good afternoon, gents. The Habs could bring Reinbacher at the end of the season like they did with Subban. Yeah, but I think they need him now. And they, you know, if he's going to play in the playoffs, I don't want to just bring him up for the playoffs. You got to have a look at him now and get him accustomed to the NHL. He's got to get accustomed to the NHL regular season before you throw him into the fire of the NHL playoffs. You don't go from AHL regular season to NHL playoffs, I don't think. Matheson was on the ice for 11 goals against in this road trip. Yeah, plays too much and on the wrong side. Lansdowne Street. And we're getting some new people in here. Please hit that like button. It does me a world of good. Subscribe if you haven't already. Got a lot of subscribers this last week. It's been, I guess that 8-hour marathon is paying off a little bit. My numbers have been good this weekend. Thank you so much. Hey, if you're watching on X, hop on over to the YouTube, HabsCast on YouTube. Hit that like button and subscribe. It would just, I can't thank you enough if you do that. The Bayou Galchenyuk cassette development is not the same as today's. You can't blindly generalize the Habs can't develop their guys. Well, it's a bit of both, right? I don't think people are blindly saying it, but they're pointing out that the development is better now. And by the way, you see those two logos there, nextlevelhockey.com. Check out their website. Logs End, fantastic flooring. Logs taken from the bottom of the Ottawa River and turned into wide plank flooring. Logsend.com. Check out their website. And you know why you should do that? Because this guy right here got his flooring from Logs End. Ivan Cornway, folks. The one and only. 10-time Stanley Cup winner. Montreal Canadiens legend. All right. Try to get caught up on the all of the comments, and then I'll wrap this up, folks. Mark, thank you for the tuning, my friend. Listen, folks, you know, if you can throw a toonie here and there, buy me a cup of coffee. This is how I'm making my living, and you know, these guys are always the ones that are contributing, and you know, it'd be nice if some other people could help out. I mean, Mark just had to buy 3 new tires, and he's broke, and he still sent me money. So, you know, if you're able to throw me a toonie here and there, doesn't have to be today, but whatever in the future, trust me, it helps keep me going, and we can just build on this this great community that we've already put together here. I really do try to interact with everybody online. I get to your questions because I think it's important, but in return, if now and then you can compensate me with a couple of bucks or whatever, you know, reciprocate, it's highly appreciated. Or at the very least, hit the like and subscribe button if you don't feel comfortable doing that. I don't understand this Jack Eye cult thing. Well, it's because he's tough, right? There'll always be people that want. I mean, Montreal went a lot of years there where they got beat up and they didn't really have a tough guy, and now that they have one of the toughest guys in the league, you know, it to a certain degree, it's a bit of a macho thing. And hey, you know, that's hockey, right? But Jack Eye's he's a really character guy too, and good in the dressing room. It's hard not to like the guy and root for the guy, but you know, when people go nuts that he's out of the lineup, or say that Marty has to be fired because he didn't play Arbor Jack Eye and this and that, trust me, if you reversed roles and he was the one playing 25 minutes, killing penalties like Matheson, up against every top line, every shift, you'd soon realize why he's not a 24-minute a night defenseman. Rick has to get ready for Sunday dinner. It's a holiday for us Italians. Ah, yes. He was never drafted. Okay, well, Jack Eye's a serviceable NHL 6, 7, 8 defenseman. Like, you know, that's more than we can say. They don't even hit when Jack Eye is in. And then we have to deal with it, all his error and penalty. Yeah. Not the same. Even when he don't play, they know we'll get him after. Yeah. Well, I don't mind having him. Again, these always seem to regress into a Jack Eye discussion, eh? Grant, go outside and get some sun. Oh yeah, why? I'm an Irishman, redhead. Sun not good for me. Who starts for the Habs in net? I just freckle anyway. Who starts in net for the playoffs? Well, Billy, I mean, we're going to have to wait and see, right? Are you a bit of a Blue Jays fan, Billy? Well, there was a young tandem once, Halak and Price. They seem to do okay. And Dryden, as you pointed out, and Raw. So it's not like rookies haven't come in and do done the job, so you never know. You never know. Maybe Fowler Dobish tandem's what they go with. Just as long as it's not Monty at this point. Line A, Jets, Chicago. Oh yeah, he'll get another job. Maybe these guys in the bubbles can make a good living. Yeah. All right, I want to keep this under 2 hours. I'll go another 5 minutes. So please hit the like button if you don't mind. Man crush on Jack. Oh, okay. All right. I'm just, you guys can keep the Jack Eye discussion because we have it it's in here every single day. There's more discussion on a 6'7" defenseman than is really justified. I like that he needs to get stronger. Disagree. He's plenty strong. He's crushing guys. He's crunching guys all the time. Again, that's a narrative and it's incorrect. DR has looked ready for a while. I don't think he is. And bringing up would most likely result in a blow to his confidence. All right, Tony, thank you. Springhetti has very good insights. Yeah, the Springer does. No, Logs End didn't renew. They didn't. I'm just giving them a bit extra because in February, as it turned out, didn't have very big numbers. Habs didn't play for 3 weeks, so I said I'll give you an extra couple of weeks. They didn't ask for it. Just I'm the type of guy that has a conscience, and so that's why I that's totally on me. They didn't renew, and unless some people either buy some of their products or at least get quotes from them over the next 2 weeks, they definitely aren't going to be renewing. So that's what my hope is too from this extra 2 weeks I'm giving them, is that hopefully some people at least contact them, send them an email, get a quote, even that. And apparently nobody did that. So, but I do appreciate you, Mark, telling your boss about it. I guess he didn't contact them, but at least you made an effort, and I really appreciate it. I disagree. He's ready. The way I see physicality. Thank you very much. It's 215 pounds. Every top 5 defenseman, Tony, in history gets a look by the age of 21 in the NHL. And a lot of them weren't nearly as ready as he is. So I will respectfully disagree. Snake won't be back on in the near future. Oh, he got told that he can't come on here anymore. So I guess, I don't know. You can discern what you want from that. Delorier for a 7th. Would you have taken him for that? Yeah, well, they couldn't, I guess, because they didn't move any friggin' players. So, but yeah, I got thinking that maybe, then there'd be less complaints when Arbor's out of the lineup. But yeah. What are my thoughts on Nico Hischier? Why are you asking me about Nico Hischier? I love him. Great hockey player. Cam Ward won a cup as a rookie. Oh, lots of them have. Any thoughts on Maddox Schultz? Not particularly. Okay, folks, 2 more minutes. I want to wrap it up here before 2 hours. In fact, I guess I'll wrap it up right now. Thank you so much. Thanks, Donnie and Mark, for your contributions. We're going to be relying on the good numbers here as far as compensation for today. YouTube will be paying me $20-$30. So hey, every bit helps, right? I'm making about $40-$50 a day doing this. That's not going to make me rich, but it is. I'm surviving. HL physicality versus NHL playoff end of season physicality, huge difference. No, it's not a huge difference. HL is quite physical, actually, Tony. You're completely wrong. He's more than ready physically. He's 215 pounds, 6'3.5". He plays a physical style. He's physical all the time. He moves guys out of the front of the net. He staples guys to the boards. He boxes guys out. No, he's ready. He's ready physically all day and twice on Sunday. Okay, my friend? You can keep disagreeing with me, but I've scouted prospects for 20 years, and you're wrong. You're just wrong. The Pascal Vincent interview didn't give me a feeling we'll see him this year. Yeah, well, don't go by friggin' interviews. Like, Matthew Nyes would have been the best at, I think. Elliot Friedman mentioned the Leafs were willing to let him go. If you keep Hage, he would be a big moose on that top six. Yeah. Oh, well, they didn't get him. Oh, I'm over 2 hours now. Okay. I'll go another 5 minutes, guys. Yeah, well, ifs and buts. Like, let's, grass is greener on the other side or whatever. Elliot Friedman mentioned that, Connor David willing to let go. Like, it doesn't matter, right? They didn't move. Yeah, I think I'm correct, Tony. I usually think I'm correct. Many vets say their jump to the NHL was smooth because the level of players you were joining makes life easier in some respects. Yeah. And the other thing too with Reinbacher, Tony, is that he's not like Gooley. He's bigger than Gooley was 2 years ago when he came into the league. He's as big as Gooley is now. He's got huge legs. And again, you see him listed at 209 or whatever, he's 215. But unlike Gooley, he doesn't take hits. He doesn't go out of it like Gooley. And it's been one of the reasons why he's had injury problems is he takes hits that he shouldn't take. And especially earlier on when he was quite a bit smaller than what Gooley was playing at a lot slighter size than what Reinbacher is right now, and taking hits when he shouldn't have been. Reinbacher doesn't do that, and he's bigger than Caden Gooley was 2 years ago when he first came into the league. So he's more ready. He's more ready physically by far than both Hutson and Gooley were when they came in. Many vets say, yeah, no, that's a good point, Spoolie, and I think Reinbacher will adjust perfectly to the NHL in part because he's going to be playing with, like, he made a hell of a lot of nice plays last night that that would have been with Montreal's skilled players, he has 2 or 3 points last night. So starting to see that offensive potential that I know. I mean, I was told by Bobrov after he drafted him, look, his numbers were better than Roman Yossi's were at the same age playing in the Swiss League. And he didn't see why someday that he may not be. You don't know for sure, right? I mean, you're projecting, but like he might end up being a 50-point NHL defenseman. I see the tools there for it. And if he plays 20 to 25 minutes a game and he plays with Hutson and he gets some second power play time, which I see the potential for here now, he might be a 50-plus point NHL defenseman on top of being Montreal's best defensive defenseman someday. So That's a pretty nice package. Well, Tony, you can't worry about injuries. That's not how well, why don't you just sit him for the year then? Why even play him in? He could get injured playing in the ECHL. Like, he can get injured like Emil Heinemann crossing the friggin' street and getting hit by a car. Like, you can't bubble wrap these guys and sit them on the bench because might get hurt, right? That's just, you can't worry about it, Tony. And again, he's not 180 pounds. Lane Hutson came in and played 22 minutes a game at 160 pounds, and you're worried, oh, well, what if this 215-pound guy gets hurt? You know what I mean? Like, it can't be what you do. You can't worry about maybe a guy gets hurt. He can help the Canadians right now. He's ready. In fact, they need him. So call him up. Get this cap stuff sorted out. Find a spot for him. Give him a look before the playoffs, because I think if they want to do anything in the playoffs this year, and I think they do, Reinbacher's got to be a piece of it. Well, now's the time to bring him up. He's more than ready. Best player on the ice 5 out of the last 6 games that I've watched of Laval. Kid's ready. So, all right, folks. As always, a great discussion. I hope I didn't miss anything pertinent. I tried to get to everybody's comments here as best I could. I'll be doing a podcast after the next game. I haven't even looked at the schedule. When's their next game, folks? Is it Wednesday? Tuesday? What, Leafs are next? If I recall correctly. Let me know here. Tuesday against the Leafs? Okay, so I'll be on Tuesday. Eric's back from his trip to Mexico. We're due for a good conversation. Maybe tomorrow or Tuesday, Eric and I will have a live lunch, and we'll set things up. Thanks, Tony. I appreciate it, buddy. Hutson doesn't play a physical game, different situation. Again, I don't know what you're talking about. Hutson doesn't get hit, and Reinbacher doesn't go out of his way to get hit. So, and Hutson does play physical, actually. He competes, he hits. Yeah, I got that, Tony. At 160 pounds. So you're not worried about Hutson, but you're worried about a 215-pound guy. Just, that's kind of backwards logic. But anyway, thanks for the compliments anyways, Tony. We'll disagree on that, but I do agree on this. Excellent podcast. You know why? Because Rick, as always, was fantastic as a guest. All right. Fridays, Saturday, Sunday, I don't know, 16 hours of podcasting? It's been good. It's been fun, but it's time for a little break. Thank you, as always, everyone. Great turnout here. Have yourselves a fantastic rest of your Sunday, and hope to see you on here either tomorrow or Tuesday. Hit the notify button if you're subscribed, and so I think you'll get wind of when my next podcast is. I'll post something on X and Blue Sky. You can follow me at Grant McCagg on Blue Sky or on Twitter. I also am on Facebook. If you want to, friend me on Facebook, you can find me on there. And I also put up, I put posts up there as well of when I'm doing a podcast. So The more the merrier. Let's hope for Bruin and Wings to lose today. Absolutely. Yep, that would be good, wouldn't it? Okay. Excellent turnout. Thank you. And we'll see you either tomorrow or Tuesday.